Hi friends, how are ya? Well, welcome back to the channel for a video that I'm so excited about because this has kind of just become like my passion over the last year or two, and that is all hosting tips that I have compiled into one video. This could be whether you're having just a couple friends over for dinner or hosting a large gathering, hosting a baby shower, bridal shower, birthday party. It could be anything. These tips will apply to a lot of these things. I feel like hosting and just hospitality in general is literally a spiritual gift. I think that it is a way that you can give back to your community and like love on people around you and facilitate friendships, because making friends as an adult is actually very hard. Being able to create a space where people can come together and make friendships of their own is a really big blessing and gift that you can give to the people around you. And it's just fun, literally. Without further ado, here are my best hosting tips. First and foremost, I just want to start off with the tip of don't put too much pressure on yourself. You don't need to make it perfect. You don't need to spend a lot of money. Like honestly, some of my favorite hangs are just ordering pizza in. It costs a couple dollars a person. It takes no cleaning, no cooking. You eat it on a paper plate, you throw it away after. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate or perfect. People just love getting together. And so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna get into a little more of like hands-on involved hosting things, but at the end of the day, inviting people over, or not even over, even to a public space, to the beach, to the park, to wherever, and just bringing pizza is great. I had written down it's more about creating community than it is impressing everyone. And that is the heart of all of this, okay? But if you are wanting to host something a little more involved, my number one go-to thing that I think of every single time I'm planning something is what hands-on activity can I incorporate into the night? I actually think, especially when you're just getting to know someone and it's still fresh, maybe you don't know anyone there, you're just showing up, having an activity to do together is the best icebreaker. And so this could look like a lot of things. This could be a food-based activity, like I've done make your own pizza night, or even just I hosted a little shower that was like a salad bar, so kind of build your own salad bar. This could be cookie decorating. This could be making s'mores together. Also, game night is always just a great move, whether it's a card game, a board game, whatever that might be. Movie night is always a great move. That's an activity you could do together. There's seasonal activities like pumpkin carving in the fall, or sugar cookie decorating, gingerbread house making in the winter. Or if you're hosting like a shower, I've done like build your own bouquet bars, just something that people can all do with their own hands together that seamlessly fits into the night. Normally doing it around food is great because it saves you an extra expense, because it's like we were gonna get food anyways. So I love to always think of one activity-ish thing that everybody can participate in as kind of like an icebreaker and a way to fill the time, so you don't just like sit and eat and try to think of things to talk about. Speaking of food, something that I always appreciate as a person with celiac disease is when people check in about allergies or dietary restrictions, or even just preferences. If some people are like, yeah, I don't love to eat dairy, so I try to avoid it. Just having those things in mind is really helpful. Since I am gluten-free, I always have at least one gluten-free option, but I don't make everything gluten-free either. If I'm just making dinner for a couple friends, I will make it all gluten-free because why not? But I do feel like it makes people feel seen and safe and valued. And also, how much of a bummer would it be if you spent all day making something for a friend and then they show up and they can't eat any of it? It puts them in an awkward position too, because they don't want to like break it to you. It's just always really nice to check ahead of time. Girls will get this. You know when you're going to an event and you're like, what's the vibe? Are we like dressing up a little bit? Are we all gonna be casual? You don't want to like be super dressed up and everybody's in sweatpants. So something that I love to do, especially for a girl's night, is just send out a text ahead of time being like, by the way, I'm gonna be dressing comfy tonight. Or if it fits and if it's like inclusive, doing a theme of like, I just did a pizza night, for example, and I said, let's all wear our pajamas. Everybody has pajamas already. It could be whatever you want. We're all comfy, we're all cute. I do think it's always fun, and I've never done this, when somebody has like, you know, a more themed party, maybe a Valentine's, a Galentine's, and says, everybody wear pink, everybody wear red. But also I've been in the position where I was told to show up to something wearing pink, and I looked through my closet and I did not own a single pink thing. And I didn't want to go shopping. I didn't want to spend money. I didn't have time to. So I do think being aware of like being inclusive in terms of something that everybody probably already has, like pajamas, is something helpful. But just sending a little text to the girls being like, I think I'm gonna get cute tonight. I want to take an Instagram picture. Or or I think I'm gonna be comfy tonight, just so that they don't have to ask and they don't have to play that game in their head is helpful. Okay, obviously this is a big one. Always have some sort of non-alcoholic drink. I like to do something fun, like some sort of mocktail, or if I don't have time to prep, just ordering some Olippops or some fun canned non-alcoholic beverages. A lot of times, especially I'm in the season of life where a lot of my friends are getting pregnant, and a lot of times they're not quite ready to tell everybody. So if there's a really fun non-alcoholic drink, they won't feel so weird being like, oh, I'll just have water, not wanting to tell people that maybe they're pregnant or just choosing not to drink for any reason. So if it's fun, they can be like, oh my gosh, that sounds delicious. And it feels less of like a weird thing. I'm just always trying to keep in mind people's emotions. Another great way to do this is just getting a pitcher. You can get these for $15 with a little spigot, which I've been told I say that word funny, and just infusing it with some lemons, some lime, some citrus, some herbs, something, make some spa water. That way people can just reach for that easily, because sometimes it's awkward to ask, can I have some water? Where's the glass? All that sort of thing. Let's talk about guest bathroom. There's a few things that I like to do. One is I love to have just a candle going in the powder bath. I do feel like a lot of my friends out here are a little more holistic, and some of them don't love to burn candles, which I totally admire. And so I've been doing that less and less. But something else that is really helpful is I have a big box of big matches in there, just in case. Lighting a match can cover a lot. And especially my house, the bathroom is right in the kitchen, so it doesn't feel like feels like you're kind of in the heart of it all. So having a match in there is very helpful. But essential oil diffuser, candle, anything like that to kind of also set the mood, make it feel a little vibey, is helpful and practical. And then a few of y'all gave some suggestions too in terms of the guest bath, which I think are so helpful. One is have a plunger in there just in case, because if anybody really needed one, having to ask for one would just be hard. So having it already there is very kind and helpful. Somebody else said have one piece of trash in the trash can so that people don't feel embarrassed about adding to it, which I've never thought about and I think is brilliant. And lastly, having a nice like folded plush hand towel in there is something that I always do, but a lot of people had also recommended, if you're having a larger group, switching out the hand towel halfway through the night so it doesn't feel like wet and used, but is like dry and nice for the next person, is also something I never thought about. So those are a few things to have in mind for the guest bath, just to make people feel comfortable and not embarrassed in any sort of way, shape, or form. Let's talk about food display. I have built my little collection of like raised trays. I have found that it makes putting food out feel so much more intentional, even if it's just like burger night, which also great food activity, kind of build your own burger together. And you just have like the ketchup, the mayo, the mustard, whatever. Putting it on a little raised tray suddenly feels like this is intentional and not like there's just a ton of stuff out on the counter. The trays I use all the time were actually DIY projects where I went to the tile store, I bought 2 tiles, and I bought liquid nails. I actually first made them as signs, but now I use them as trays. I use them all the time, and that cost me like a few bucks. As I mentioned earlier, I have this as another point, just have like easily accessible water. I always forget to offer water. Like I'm always like, we have this, we have this, we have this. And sometimes people just want water. So either having cups by your fridge, if you have like a little water dispenser, or just putting water into a pitcher or like a container with a spigot makes it easy. One and done, people can find it, have little cups next to it. Something I've learned the hard way is I want to clean, and then like work on all the food and everything. And just so much falls onto the ground, especially if you're like cutting anything, crumbs, produce, little things like that. So I've learned just vacuum the floor last. Just do that last minute right before everybody comes, because otherwise you'll vacuum the floor, do all that work, and then just need to do it again. Consider the 5 senses. Touch, taste, smell, feel, all of the things. 1, visually, cozy mood lighting. Have y'all seen the like no big light movement? I'm so behind that. Our house is a little bit hard because we don't have a ton of space for lamps and our lights can be on a dimmer, but just dimming the lights, having a couple lamps going, just like a cozy, warm, inviting environment. Another thing people do are like add floor lights, which I think are so nice, maybe behind some furniture, just to like cast a warm glow. I think all of that is very cozy. Next, smell. Like I said, burning a candle, diffusing essential oils is always great, but if you're not into that, you can make a simmer pot, you can bake some cookies, you can just like have some sort of warm and inviting smell. Even if it's just your cleaning products, if you use like a very just fresh, clean smelling, natural cleaning product, that's always another way too to make it just feel like fresh. Open some windows, get some fresh air in, just consider the smell. In terms of hearing, finding the best vibey music is very important. For me, my go-to is Leon Bridges' Pandora or Spotify Radio, Camp, Pandora or Spotify Radio, and I've just recently found Dijon. Camp is a little folky, Leon Bridges is kind of like a retro vibe, and Dijon's a little more R&B, soul, alternative, indie, hip-hop, that kind of realm. So those are usually my go-tos, at least lately. Next, feeling. I always have a basket of blankets. Normally I fold them up and roll them up, kind of nice, but especially if you're indoor, outdoor, being able to take a blanket outside. And then of course, taste. Yummy things to snack on, sip on, whatever that might be. Also, when it comes to just curating nice, cozy vibes, if people are not candle fans, I think just getting some unscented beeswax taper candles elevate the feeling of an event so much. We love a good taper candle moment. This is something that I think is brilliant. I haven't done yet, but I have seen people, if you don't need the sink to be used for prepping food, washing hands, whatever, if you have a guest bath for people to wash their hands, I've seen people fill their sink with ice and then throw all their canned beverages or maybe even bottles of wine or whatever into their sink. So it's a central accessible spot, easy cleanup, the ice will just melt and drip down the sink, and I just think that that is so brilliant. I've been waiting for my opportunity to do that for an event where it makes sense. In terms of plating food, I fully believe fresh herbs and microgreens make everything look so homemade, so elevated, so fancy. I just did a bridal shower where it was like a farmer's market theme, and I got some things from the farmer's market, but I also just got some things from Trader Joe's, like the Trader Joe's hummus. But I topped the hummus with a little bit of fresh olive oil and some micro herbs, and boom, it looked like I made it. You know, just taking a little bit of time, adding some herbs to your fruit platter, or adding microgreens even on top of like the protein that you're about to serve really adds a lot visually and really makes it look quite fancy. I will say, in terms of hosting indoor outdoor, adding string lights to our backyard has totally changed the vibe of hosting things outside. You can get string lights for like 30 bucks from Target. Just hang them along your fence, hang them along the side of your house, or actually string them like market lights. It just changes the whole feel. It makes it feel very intentional, this warm, subtle lighting everywhere, no like scary dark corners where someone could be hiding. It just feels safe and secure and happy. I love the concept of having things kind of stocked in the fridge that will keep for a really long time, like a box of crackers and maybe some aged cheese, maybe some olives, just things that can live for a long time on standby in case someone pops over. You can quickly throw together a little like snack board, cheese board, something of the sort. You never know. We have people just pop on by all the time here, and I love being able to put out something for people to nibble on and make it feel like, oh, okay, I didn't inconvenience them. They're actually like inviting me in, inviting me to stay, inviting me to hang out. Something that I love is having a nice portable speaker that you can kind of bring with you no matter where you go. My parents, I grew up with very hosty parents. They are the king and queen of hosting. They had like speakers throughout their house, inside, outside, so the music would be playing everywhere. We don't have that. I mean, most people don't. That's like pretty excessive, but I just have a Bose speaker. I bought it a couple years ago for definitely less than $100, and it is such a good speaker. And if we're all in the kitchen, it's in the kitchen, but if we all go outside to the fire pit to make s'mores, I just bring it with me and the music can follow, and that changes everything. I have noticed a couple times I've forgotten and we're all sitting outside with no music, something feels a little off until I realize, oh, I left the music inside. Okay, if you're hosting an event, like a bridal shower, a baby shower, anything like that, creating some sort of DIY signage makes the whole thing feel really special and intentional for the guest of honor. And there's a few ways to do this. We love Canva. Canva is so helpful, and then just print it out, put it in a frame. Or you can order like cardboard prints from Walgreens or CVS for $10, $12, I think. I just did that for an event. Or like for my friend Anna's baby shower, I used the same stone signs that I now use as trays. I bought little 3D stickers, and I made a sign on this stone sign because it was kind of more the vibe of the theme of the party. So just creating something that is a sign feels like, oh wow, they did all of this for me when you're the guest of honor. Something very important Having extra little to-go boxes to be able to send home leftover food with people is so helpful. A, in terms of cleanup. B, if you're like me and it's just me and one other person in this household, we're not gonna be able to eat all the leftover food before it goes bad. So it's more sustainable. And C, being able to continue to bless people the next day. Now they have lunch, they have dinner, they have something like that prepped. So whether that is like little Tupperwares that they can continue to reuse after they take it home, or even just like little paper boxes like you get at a restaurant that can be recycled, having those on hand. I need to actually stock up on more. This is a good reminder for me. Honestly, don't feel the need to deep clean your house. The two things that I think make a difference are wiping down your counters and sweeping your floors. As long as there's no like super visible crumbs on the counters or floors, your house will feel relatively clean. People aren't gonna go run their finger and look for dust. People aren't gonna like go inspect your fridge to see if there's smudges on the handles. Give yourself 10 minutes to wipe your counters and sweep your floors. Maybe make sure that the toilet is not awful in the bathroom, and then you're fine. That's all you really need. $5 Trader Joe's flowers change everything. I love the tulips. These are kind of on their way out, but I've had them for a long time now. I love the tulips from Trader Joe's. I feel like they last the longest and they always just look so elegant. As they continue to grow, they get more whimsical. You don't need to have flowers, but spending $5 at Trader Joe's to get a little thing of tulips does really, really add something. This is something I've recently learned. If you're actually serving dinner, prep everything, cook everything, but don't reheat everything until people have really settled in. I'm the type of person that will have everything, if I say come over at 6, everything will be ready to go at 6 o'clock on the dot, and then people feel like rushed or the food gets cold. And I've just needed to shift my mentality to, I'm not gonna plan to even pop the things back in the oven until 6:30 and we'll eat at 6:40. And instead have little bites out for people to nibble on, let them settle in, let them hang out, reheat everything a little after the time that you had first planned. That's what I need to work on. And lastly, this is just something kind of fun. I've recently had a dream of, I have a little Polaroid camera. I have wanted to get film, and whenever people come over, take a picture of them when they visit. I have a fridge in this laundry room right here that I've been trying to figure out how to like make it less of an eyesore, because it's this big black box as soon as you walk in. And I think adding a little Polaroid along the side of that fridge when you walk in would be so cute. And then people come over the second time, the third time, they see their faces up and they're like, oh, I belong here. I'm welcomed here. I've been here before. I'm like valued here. And I think that that's really sweet. So that's something that I'm gonna start doing whenever I have people over, and just kind of build a little community wall of all of our loved ones and friends and family and everyone that visits. Let me quickly read through some of y'all's tips. Also, Jordy, I asked him this morning if he has any tips. One thing he said, which is brilliant, is he said, keep a list of unique and cheap eats in your area, especially people do all sorts of things. Like we have dollar tacos every Tuesday and Friday down the street from us. And just something that's kind of fun of like, oh, hey guys, it's Tuesday. You want to come over for dollar tacos? Feels unique, feels fun, saves you a lot of money. Second, he said, is dress up cheap things. Like it's so easy to take a beer to a michelada with just the addition of like lime and tahini or chamoy, or I forget what all is in a michelada, but doesn't cost that much more money and feels special. Or he said, like, instead of just having chicken nuggets, you can use that and make it chicken and waffles. And I thought that that was a great idea. Y'all's tips: accept help from the guests. This is something I need to be better about as well, but as a guest, it does make you feel like you were a part of it and makes you feel like excited to help. So whether it's asking someone to bring the drinks or the dessert or the sides, I think that it is actually great for everybody when you say, okay, yeah, that would actually be so helpful. Buy supplies that you can repurpose again. I totally agree with this. Our wedding, we needed a cake stand. And so instead of just buying a specific cake stand, I went ahead and bought one that I loved and thought could be used for any event, and I've used it for already like 4 things since then. Somebody said warm up plates in the oven before serving the food and it will help keep the food hot. I think that is so smart. I've never done that. I would definitely read the bottom of your plates to make sure that they can withstand high temperatures, but very smart. Somebody said always have coffee or tea ready. I love that, especially for daytime hangs. I need to honestly start having some decaf Nespresso pods. So like late night cozy with dessert, I can offer people lattes. A lot of people don't like caffeine late at night, but having like a decaf latte would be really fun. I think that that's extra cozy. I love that a lot. People care more about the feel than everything being perfect. It's so true. I think being present and just like connecting with people instead of trying to, you know, run around and make sure that everything stays perfect is so much more valuable. This is fun. Have 2 playlists, one more high energy and one more chill for the end of the night. So smart. I'm a big Pandora girl. I get roasted for it all the time. Apparently it is very rare for someone of my generation to love Pandora. Who knew? But I love Pandora because they take all the guesswork out. Just pay whatever to not have ads. Trust me on that. I love the idea of having something a little more high energy from like 6 to 8. And then at 8, switch into something a little more chill and moody because it kind of winds down the night. I saved this one because this is what my parents did. Have a gift closet. You never know when you might need a gift. My mom is the queen of gift closets. Anytime she'd see something that she loved, or maybe there was like a really good sale on like jewelry or candles or whatever, she would buy a few and she would keep them in a closet because it is, you never know. Someone last minute could come over and it could be their birthday or whatever, and you could like wrap a cute candle for them. I grew up in that household and I love it. She would also keep all of her wrapping supplies in there too. So we would go like shopping for friends' birthdays. We'd be like, ooh, what's in the gift closet? And go pick something out and wrap it in the closet. It was so fun. And then lastly, someone said, serve dessert with Prosecco or champagne. I love it. I love it. There's also a ton of like non-alcoholic sparkling little bottles of things, which is so fun too. But that definitely feels like a special treat and makes it feel like a fine dining experience. So I love where your head's at. That's great. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video there because I've talked for way too long, but this is truly something that I feel like I've been able to step into within this last year, finally being like rooted in one spot, and it is just so fun. It's a creative thing. It really is, thinking about how to curate a full night for someone and being intentional with like how to love them, how to make them feel special, how to give them a good experience that they don't have to spend money to do, how to connect them with other people that they might enjoy. There's just so much goodness that can come from hosting. It's a blessing to yourself too, because it totally changes like your heart posture, and it's so fulfilling. Let's all be in our hosty era. Here's to 2024, 2025, us curating special experiences. I think we lost a lot of it during COVID when we literally couldn't. So let's reclaim that. Let's make that ours, okay? Okay. I love y'all. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope you have the best rest of your day. Tag me in anything you host. I want to see. Tag me on Instagram and your stories or something. I love you, and I will see you in a video very soon.